We are here today, still with the lights not moving today. Hold on, we got to make sure the lights are moving always. Always the lights are moving. Sean, you're here. You're here.
I'm here in my pajamas.
Why are you in the pajamas? We're still trying to figure this one out. What is it that the pajamas did to you? What is the problem here?
It's about bedtime for me.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah. I don't know. Just get people talking, I guess.
Well, I mean, we had to leave the house after the Chili Bowl. You know, you're a big Kyle Larson fan, so.
Yeah, I wasn't putting up with that shit no more.
Yeah. Well, everybody kicks the Chaz out after, a couple days or two. Did you hear Broke Joe's impression of you? We had Broke Joe on the phone. He was giving some impressions, and one of them was of you. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I finally heard it.
No response?
He did a pretty good imitation, and he did a pretty good, what's that word I'm trying to say?
Imitation, I think, is correct.
Yeah.
Or impersonation,
sorry.
I mean, what did you think of his Wayne Harper?
Oh, that that was pretty good.
I know you had to have some strong feelings on the Larson situation, but that's behind us now. The worst thing, apparently, is that the Chiefs won yesterday. Chiefs and Eagles. How do you feel about these games that we saw?
Oh, my God. I like the Eagles. Yeah, the Chiefs, I don't know. They're a lot of hate there.
You hate the Chiefs?
No, I don't hate the Chiefs, but there's just a lot of people out there that are disliking them.
Well,
and I don't know if it's so much them as it is the refs, I feel, but.
Well, I mean, it's hard. Why do they cheat for, I'm asking why do they cheat for Kyle at the Chili Bowl? This is why Kyle Mahomes was a thing. But why do they cheat for the Chiefs? Do they need Patrick Mahomes to fill the GOAT void of Tom Brady? Is that what it's about?
I'm really not too sure what it's about. I mean, there was some calls made, or some calls that weren't made that I seen, but I mean it was going both ways, and I mean the refs couldn't make it really obvious. I mean the crucial plays, they made it obvious, of course, but
that day Portnoy was fucking pissed though, huh?
Man, that guy was fucking. He was coming unhinged,
and
I think he's still unhinged today.
So Knuckles Skinner said it. Constipated Sean. That's what they say. That's why he's wearing the pajamas, so he can always go, you know. We just clicked the wrong button. That was interesting. Patrick Mahomes is Jeter. Okay, so we do actually have things to talk about today. You know, probably the one thing and the main thing that Portnoy was upset about was the gambling part, right? Because you said he lost like $1 million?
He lost $1 million.
On the first game.
Yeah, I believe the first game, yes.
And I'm assuming he had money on the Bills for him to be as mad as he was in the second one. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is official. I feel like I'm Johnny Gibson. It is now time for your starting lineup. How does he do it? Is that close, Sean?
That's pretty close.
Oh my God, Ben Worth can do a really good one. But it is now time to open up your gambling apps, apparently, Sean, and go to gambling with the World of Outlaws. I mean, it's coming. It is coming, Sean. World of Outlaws World Racing Group release their gambling policy, ladies and gentlemen. Gambling policy. There hasn't been anything announced. We know High Limit and everybody, they announced, we're doing this, we're doing that. we're gonna bring gambling in 2025, and we're so fucking cool. Fuck World Outlaws. Me and fucking Brad Sweet and all the 5-foot ninjas are taking over, bitches. We're gambling. But now the World Outlaws have their policy out, so we ain't seen nothing, Sean, about gambling. But it looks like they're prepping to go forward.
Well, I mean, it makes you wonder if there's something behind the scenes that somebody's working on that nobody knows about yet.
Well, I would just hope that it's going to be an actual gambling app. Like, we ain't seen gambling on like DraftKings and FanDuel and like in your major betting areas. I haven't seen that yet. You know, if they can go into that market of actual sports gambling, that'll be interesting. I mean, but I ain't really seen anything like it. I mean, and maybe that's why they're saving it. You know, they're trying to come out with the proper P's and Q's instead of just rushing it on some half-ass shit, like it looks like this other stuff is. I mean, right? I mean, these other apps I've never heard of in my life are half-assed to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to give my banking information to some of these half-ass sites where it says, wager on USAC, and I've never heard of it before.
Right.
Data is a real thing with AI.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about all this stuff.
Well, I agree. Well, let's just read the policy real quick. Dirt Tracker actually posted this, so he must have got the memoir. It says effective January 24, 2025 for all the series. This shows World Outlaw Sprint Cars, late models, big blocks, ASCS, Extreme Outlaw, and Dirt Car Racing. Which Dirt Car Racing is the UMP Modifieds. Dirt Car Racing is actually the sanctioning body of Eldora with the World 100 and all the big events for the late models at Eldora, World 100, the Dream, all that stuff. Those are Dirt Car or have been Dirt Car sanctioned events. So it says all race personnel, including but not limited to drivers, team personnel, crew, officials, and staff personnel, are strictly prohibited from placing, soliciting, or facilitating any bet or wager, whether directly or through a third party proxy or surrogate, on any class of a World Racing Group event. If they compete in any class at the same event, have a direct or indirect association or affiliation with the event, a promoter, a track owner, a track employee, they are aware of information regarding an event or its competitors that would give them an advantage in placing a wager. This applies to all events sanctioned or operated by subsidiaries or affiliates of World Racing Group. All World Racing Group staff are prohibited from placing any wager on any WRG event. This prohibition applies to all personnel and includes but not limited to betting or wagering on the season, race, or event outcomes, statistics, scores, individual performances, and any other kinds of bets and wagers. In addition, all personnel are explicitly prohibited from providing tips or non-public information to third parties. This includes direct or indirect disclosure or suggestion of any information that the individual had access to as a result of their position in the racing industry or other non-public knowledge or information that is used for the purpose of wagering would provide an unfair advantage. So, Sean, my question would be, does that mean that I am prohibited from gambling? Because, like, for instance, like me or Jeremy Elliott or Dirt Tracker or any of these guys, we could get some non-public information from some of these teams or something in some way, somehow, you know, a tire they're running or a new engine package they're going to roll out with this week that is technically non-public information. But isn't that just information, or is that's not necessarily with the event outcome? That's just we know something. I mean, but that's non-public?
Well,
this is a big gray area, right?
I would think it's a huge gray area. I mean, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it applies to you or Elliot or.
I'm just saying, though, it kind of does. Public information. What is it? What is it? Back to the gray areas. What is it?
This is just all. I don't know. It just seems to me it's just happening all too fast, and just a lot of changes are happening, and I don't know.
You got here in the comments, somebody says gambling has no place in motorsports. You also have Ricky Thornton Jr. with the second comment saying, I guess I'll race harder now. So, and how are you going to track it? How are you going to track who, and how people know? But I do think that gambling is going to make the sport more fair. All these things that, like, for instance, the banner at Chili Bowl, not to bring up a harsh, sore subject there for you, Sean. This mystified gray area yellow, if large, big-time betting is involved, there's going to be money on more people than Kyle Larson to win the race. Like, there could be a substantial amount of money on Dason Pursley to win the race. Right. And when they make a bullshit call like that somebody's going to have to answer to these calls. Like, in the football games, we know the refs, their names, all this shit. You know, these people can properly be punished if they do a call that is incorrect. But, for instance, Broke Joe and me, when we caught Kyle Larson coming out the car with the watch on and it says no watches, if there's millions of dollars on the line in the finishing result of that race and you have somebody blatantly violating the rules, they're going to get sued over shit like that now. This type of gray area judgment call thing, you better get your fucking judgment call shit out of the way. You better not let anybody know that you're a couple pounds light on the scales and we waved them by. That shit's coming to an end once this gambling gets into this industry. You ain't going to get no free rides anymore. You ain't going to have your buddies. Because your buddies are going to get your entire industry sued into the ground because of millions and millions of dollars on the line based on your buddy system. So in my opinion, gambling coming into the sport, yeah, there could be some fixings. Yeah, there could be this, there could be that. But when you start putting big money into this, you can't just get away with some of the Kevin Now style or the banner style calls. That's going away now, because if it don't go away, there's going to be, y'all ain't going to hold y'all's decisions accountable for your favoritism and your bullshit. The people putting money on the line to do it and the people hosting those lines are going to do something about it. Is that not fair to say there, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, it's really fair.
So in essence, this is going to, I've always been saying it, and this has been my problem with the industry. There ain't no fucking gray areas for you officials. There's a big gray area with the car owners and the drivers and all that shit. But when y'all catch people, there's supposed to be black and white shit that happens. It don't matter if a toe is out of bounds or the whole fucking foot's out of bounds. It don't matter if it's 5 pounds or 25 pounds. It is illegal. And apparently, this industry's got very comfortable at letting certain people slide and certain people not slide. Once this gambling comes in here, you're not going to be able to do that. You're just not going to be able to. That's why Portnoy's talking about suing the NFL and got lawsuits out right now, apparently, right?
Well, and how hard is that going to be to win that?
Well, I mean, but you're going up against the NFL though. What if you go up against Little Bitty World Racing Group?
Right, but what if one of the officials gets caught gambling? What's gonna be the discipline?
I'm just saying. I think similar like David Gravel. Remember what was it, River Cities last year, where he flipped, wrecked, and for some reason it just took 45 minutes to remove the cars off the track so that he had extra time in the work area. Pull some shit off that just don't look right. There's going to be some problems now in this gambling, in this new era of gambling. I'm telling you. It's not going to be so simple to play your favorites anymore once real money gets involved here. At least that's my opinion.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't matter how much you gamble. I mean, if the call's not fair, then, somebody's going to be paying. Somebody's going to get pissed.
Let's put on my Deathridge glasses here to read some of these ghetto-ass comments. Look at these people. They don't even know how to listen, Sean. Terrace on Triple X's. They're talking about Trump and his terrorists. What happens? Okay, somebody said Vegas won't care. They take the rake regardless. That's not the point here. That's not the point. The gamblers, the people placing the bets are the ones going to be upset. This doesn't have to do with the bookies. And the people that are placing the bets are going to file complaints. First of all, doesn't you have a son that gambles a lot? Doesn't when some of those calls go like halfway, I think even him and a couple of people, they file complaints and they get some of their bets back sometimes when the calls are that stupid, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you're going to file complaints to the bettor, the bookie, and then the bookie is eventually going to have some fucking problems with you. But the thing is, hold on. What?
The thing is, though, when you do make complaints about a call or something, you have to explain in detail what you think, and then they make the decision whether to refund you some money or however they compensate you.
Well, banners on the track, Caution's supposed to send this guy to the back. They didn't. My guy was Dason Pursley or whatever, and I want my money. I would have won that race. I finished second, and the guys out there who just won it is illegally in his position based on a judgment decision. What are you going to do? Says it in the book.
Well, this Knuckle Skinner says gamblers can't sue. Check the fine print.
Yeah, but what? Is World Racing Group going to roll out their own gambling app? In other words, will World Racing Group be the bookmaker? Thoughts? Maybe. But I don't think they got the capital for that. You got to think. I don't know if they got the capital for that.
And how many crooked motherfuckers are going to be running that? You know what I mean?
That's the problem. They could put their policy out all they want. They got a drug policy, too, but I ain't heard nothing about no testing in a long time. Just because they got these policies out here don't mean they're following through with it. They got a watch policy. You can't wear the watch in the car, but that don't fucking matter either. So, you got to be this much weight, and according to Kevin Nels, that shit don't matter out there either. So how much do these policies actually matter? And who's the one that's going to be reporting? Is there going to be a new appointee at the World Racing Group to catch gambling actions? Who's going to be actually being the police officer of this? Right. Who is going to be the police officer of the policy?
I wouldn't want to be, because you'd be getting it from both ends, and man, I don't know if I would want that job.
Allowing gambling dirt racing would be a bad thing. Maybe not. I think it's been underground for a long time. I've heard about that. Jesse Douglas, the guy who does the Dirt Code Media things, apparently he was approached at one time to do a dirt track movie, and the movie's plot was about a underground gambling ring that ran the dirt track racing world. That was the movie's plot. And it's funny, that could potentially honestly be the situation we're in right now. Somebody says they vote Chaz to be the police officer of the gambling policy. I would sell myself short. Which hot bitch wants to get laid to make some bucks tonight? You can't hire me. I'm desperate, If you can be bought out or manipulated, which basically money or women, you're fucked. You can't be those guys.
So what, you got a high standard or low standard?
I got high standards, Sean. I got high standards. But after a couple Busch Lights get into me, you never know what the fuck's going to happen next. Speaking of that, can you get me one? I mean...
If they're cold enough.
Are they cold? No. Should we start cracking them already, guys? I mean, I'm scared. We're about to get into a topic Rico Abreu has not texted me back just yet. I'm actually kind of scared. We have some things to cover tonight. We may be going to Florida. I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of talks about us going to Florida. This gambling thing, though, get one of those cups, too, because the deal will chime me or whatever. I don't know if we're going to go to Florida or not, but there is some opportunities. We do have potentially a station at Volusia being set up. We do potentially have a couple of events to talk about that we're actually going to talk about them today, and we may actually be at them and be a part of them, which will be very cool. We were a part of some events this last year with the Silver Crown event at Hutchinson, the Dodge City Raceway Park and their event that they had. Really good partnerships and things that worked out. We're actually probably going to be a part of the High Limit Dodge City event, and the whole museum out there actually liked what I did for them. So we might be part of that situation that's coming up. But we do want to get into the other topics here. The gambling, that's what I think. We're in and we're out on that. But there is more to detail. As in and out with gambling. Final thoughts, Sean? Anything on this?
No, I don't. I gotta be able to see more of what's. And I don't know.
If it ain't on DraftKings and actual mainstream betting apps, it's a waste of time to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's like Gary said in chat, slippery slope. That's no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. So next thing we're going to detail is the Speedweek situation. Now, Florida Speedweeks, it's been kicked off, but it's really kicking off now. We're through the Chili Bow string. Just had the World Outlaw late models down there at Volusia, and now we are moving on into the schedule. Of course, this weekend, possibly going to be the biggest 360 event in a long time at Volusia. This Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, American Sprint Car Series. Yes, ASCS, of course, acquired last year by the World Racing Group when they went belly up, kind of, it seemed. And we're also thinking that's a slight to potentially have Dirt Vision eventually take over the Chili Bow. You notice they did the whole Emmett Hahn Award for ASCS. Brian Carter went down there, buttered him up. And that's a big money maker. Obviously, what was it, Flo? I think you showed me. Flo, they broke the records? No, you didn't show me. Clark did. Clark calls me every now and then. Flo broke all the records for viewing audience. Apparently 140,000 unique streamers throughout the week. You could do the math there on that, but that's a big money maker if Dirt Vision could eventually acquire that. And I think getting in with ASCS, of course, the Hans running the half of the event, the Edwards the other half. That's a good little way to slippery slope your way up in there. So, hold on. What
was that? An all week number?
That was an all week number. Yes, 140,000 unique. Which means 140,000 subscriptions, basically tuned in, unique viewers.
Why did Saturday show what 75,000 or something on YouTube when Flo went down?
Right. Well, there were 75,000 for the one Saturday night, but there are potentially some people that just tuned in and checked it out for 5 minutes and tuned out and never watched it again. You know, I mean, some wrestling people or whatever, they just tuned in and tuned out. It wasn't there. They didn't like it, you know, for instance. So, yeah, there was 75,000 on YouTube, but as far as Flow Racing, Flow Sports app, going to the Chili Bows events at any point throughout the week, it was 140,000 subscribers that did so. But regardless, ASCS, once again, that could be a thing. The reason World Racing Group acquired ASCS was potentially the long game of maybe taking over the streaming rights of the Chili Bow, which is a big money ticket, especially when the Dirt Vision subscription, although the Flow Racing went up $30. It's $174 or $79.99. It's $25 or $30 more. I believe it's $30 more now. But Dirt Vision's still $349, I think, right? It's not cheap like Flow is. So that'd be huge numbers, huge money potentially in the long-term investment trying to get in with the Hans here. So regardless, ASCS now moves to Dirt Car Nationals. This is the official first date of the Dirt Car Nationals. 3 nights, ASCS and UMP Modified Racing. Danny Dietrich is scheduled to be here. Macedo's scheduled to be here. Carson Bowden, the hot shoe, we're hoping to take over the world from Texas. We discovered last year did so well in his first Chili Bowl appearance. He is not going to be there. Apparently, him and everybody down there in Texas is coming down with some kind of flu. Maybe it was something that the left came out with. Now, they're undercover. We're in this political war. But regardless, there's just a bunch of guys. Ryder LaPlante's going to be over there. Your typical ASCS roster is going to be there. I would suggest or assume you're probably going to have anywhere from 50 to 60 360 sprint cars this weekend at Volusia. Of course, if we don't go to this event, we will be right here every night talking about it. If we are there, we'll probably get our ass kicked by somebody. Schoenberg will be there, fucking Clinton Boyles, all the little cliques and everybody down there. They have probably hate me. You gonna call Caitlin a bitch, pal? I'll get that once or twice. But regardless, this is the event this weekend. If you're a sprint car fan, this is huge. This is going to be an amazing, amazing event. If you're a late model guy, we're kind of going to go down the list here, and there are some events from East Bay that have changed to some new locations that are traditionally big events, and I think they need some notoriety. For the late model fans this week, you have All Tech. All Tech is going to be running this same dates here. Hold on, let me get this up here. Yeah, Wednesday is the first night with opening practice, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday is going to be the All-Tech race. So, obviously, All-Tech, big, wide, always puts on good racing. This is the Lucas Oil dates. Very, very intriguing, to say the least. So, that's going to be this weekend's event. You got the sprint cars at Volusia, and you have the super late models Lucas Oil Tour at All-Tech. So, this will be your flow race. That'll be your dirt vision race. And then going into the next week, it's kind of interesting what happens going into the next week. The Sprint Cars, World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series will kick off their schedule Wednesday, February 5th. Obviously, they'll be racing over there Monday and Tuesday with just the modifieds at Volusia. I'm sure that'll be on Dirt Vision. But there's also some late mile races going on with Lucas, and that's the first shift of the new East Bay events. We'll be talking about that here in just a second. But you have the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, 4 days straight of World Outlaw Sprint Car Series racing action to kick off the 2025 season. And on Saturday, you'll also have, I think they run 8 races. Look, the UMP Modifieds, they do like this thing where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 nights. They do a championship on the final night. That'll be Saturday, February 8th. Saturday, February 8th. Will be the Gator Championship and the final night for the World of Outlaw Sprint Car Series. So it's kind of funny, we have these big NASCAR names come and run a modified, and they do this format to where I think it's by the last 2 days, they separate them into like rankings. And so there's like features, but they're really not features. They call them all a feature, but it's really like F mains, E mains, D mains, C mains, but it's not called that because nobody technically transfers. It's just that's where your rank is at. They get kind of like a point system going. And then you'll have like Joey Logano win a feature. Ooh, but it's really like an F fucking main. And he's in a Longhorn chassis. Running against a bunch of guys who are out there with 15-year-old equipment just trying to, go around the track. But regardless, that's the situation the following week. Now, on the same weekend, after All Tech, the Lucas Oil Series shifts over. Actually, we could go right here. Lucas Oil Series shifts over. So this is very interesting. So they go through the weekend on the 30th, 31st, and 1st this week here at All Tech. And then on the 3rd, which is next Monday, the traditional East Bay late model. We need to zoom this in out just a little bit. The traditional East Bay Lucas Oil race with the late models every year shifted technically this year to Ocala. So Bubba's Raceway, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure if Bubba's still in it or not. I think he may have got out. Not sure. Don't quote me. But they shift over to Ocala because this is kind of like the week when the sprint cars are at Volusia. Traditionally, the late models have been at East Bay. They kind of separate the fan bases. One fan base on the west side of Florida, the other fan base on the east side of Florida because Daytona, Volusia is more so on the eastern side of the state. And East Bay, of course, was on the east side or on the west side. Ocala is still somewhat on the west side, but not all the way to the ocean or the bay like East Bay was. But you see here, they'll have practice on Monday. They'll be racing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Ocala with the late models. And that's going to be 7, 10, or 7, 7, 10, 12, 25. Very similar to the East Bay Winter Nationals that we have been used to seeing every single year. But once again, East Bay no more. Another event that is very interesting in this East Bay is no more is the traditional huge King of 360s event that we're used to seeing at East Bay, the 360 sprint cars. That has now shifted, and this is on the same week, and this is a big battle. I mean, it's kind of hard to schedule races down there. Everybody wants a date. But the East Bay Raceway Park, the King of 360s, it used to be called, I believe, the Ronald Laney Memorial, because Ronald Laney lost his life at East Bay. I'm not seeing that labeling here technically. But this race now has moved to the quarter mile of Hendry County Motorsports Park. I've heard that this is now $15,000 to win, but it's for sure $10,000 to win. They're also having $3,000 to win mod lights and $3,000 to win non-wing Outlaw micros. So this is the big 360 event. So if you got a 360 sprint car and you're going to Volusia this week and you're thinking, I already talked to a few teams. They're like, yeah, we're just going for the 360 race. I'm like, okay, are you going to King of 360s? It's $10,000 to win the next week. It starts Thursday. What? There's that race. So this race has kind of been like under the radar. They're calling it the 6th annual Sugar Bowl, which used to be for the mod lights. They used to have a big mod light, or they do have a big mod light show. But now it's integrated the King of 360s, which was traditionally a East Bay event, as we've been saying here. It is USCS sanctioned, which USCS used to predominantly be that 360 series in Florida during speed weeks. But now, because of ASCS and World Racing Group's alliance, Volusia now has the ASCS series. So this is an interesting event. Who knows who's going to be there? A lot of the bigger names we will see at Volusia this coming up weekend with the ASCS series, like your DeeTricks and your Macedos and all that. Of course, they have the 410s. We'll probably even see Gio Selzy and a few others with a 360. Who knows? But those guys are going to switch, put the 410s in, and just run the Outlaws. But for those who are 360 guys or maybe don't have the 410 to especially keep up at Volusia, this is where they're going to go. They're going to go the following week to Hendry County Motorsports Park for the King of 360s, the Ronald Laney Memorial. Don't believe it's named that anymore, but this is the traditional big-time 360 race in the state of Florida. So that's going on the same time as the World of Outlaws at Volusia. This is also going on the same time as the late models at Ocala. So that's kind of your three segments: 360s, super late models, 410s. Those are the different areas. And of course, Hendry County Motorsports Park, we have been to this track. This is the southernmost racetrack in North America. It is in Clewiston, which is down by Lake Okoboji or whatever, that famous lake of bass fishing in Florida. It's like a world famous bass fishing area. But anyways, it's about 3 hours south of Ocala, 3.5 from Volusia. So it's kind of out of the way for some people, but it'll be interesting to see who all shows up in the pitting area for this big event that, once again, traditionally at East Bay, shifting now to Clewiston to put this show on, and also moved up a week because I believe traditionally this 360 race happened after the late models. But because, once again, everything's earlier this year because the NASCAR schedule moved up 1 week with the NASCAR Daytona 500. So everything is a week earlier than traditional times because of that move up. And now I guess, the only place to put this King of 360s event is at this time of the season. After this week, though, after this 6th, 7th, 8th weekend, which is not this weekend, but the following, the next week is when everything kind of shifts over to Volusia to lead up to the Daytona 500. It starts on Monday, February 10th. You got the USAC sprint cars and the late models in town, or dirt car late models, which is the supers. This is the dirt car late models, once again, is the Eldor World 100 sanction. It's the Dream sanction. Some of your other big events that are not Lucas or World of Outlaw late models. Most of the time, they're a dirt car late model event. But traditionally, just Eldora is the bigger ones that you will know of that are dirt car. Those are going to be the first 3 nights will be dirt car events. The first 2 nights they'll be joined with the USAC sprint cars. That'll be entertaining. Wednesday, February 12th, will be with the Super Dirt Car Series. Big Block Modifieds roll in, and then they finish the week out. The next 4 nights, Thursday being joined with the World of Outlaw late models, and then they'll go 3 nights from there, 13th, 14th, and 15th with the World of Outlaw late models and Big Block Modifieds tandoing there. Very interesting events happening throughout this entire Speedweek, and there is actually one more race after that weekend, and that is down there at Hendry County Motorsports Park. Most people check out and leave after the Daytona 500. That's where everybody tries to cram these events in. But down there, the week after, there's a February 20th, 21st, and 22nd. This is the weekend after the Daytona 500. You have this Swamp Cabbage 100. It's like a $22,000 to win factory stock event down there at Hendry. $22,000 to the factory stocks, $15,000 it looks like to crate late models, and $10,000 to street stocks, and then $3,000 to 4.64s, which are those Crown Vics that are on going to be racing for $100,000 to win this year with XR Mayhem, that new $100,000. Did you see that, Sean? Yeah, they released XR came out with a $100,000 to win Crown Vic event. What?
I said, wow.
Yeah, so the cop cars you thought you never wanted to see before, now you want to see them, I guess. But it's going to be $100,000 to win. That's an event coming up later this year with XR. They're doing some crazy things over there, but that's all right. Reward the working man. Forget about the highfalutin supers and 410 guys. Kiss my ass. They still have big events for them, but I'm just saying. So that's your last technical event of Florida Speed Weeks. 15, 22, and 10 and 3 for 4 racing divisions down there at Hendry County. So Hendry picking up the 360s, King of 360s, putting on this event for the 3rd year in a row. Interesting, that track down there, you really ain't ever heard about it, kind of outside of the area for most, but they're obviously putting on some big shows, paying some big money, trying to get some attention for the little track that they got down there. So that's going to do it for the Speed Weeks. Any rebuttals? Do we have anybody in the chat? Have you sent a super chat? No, you haven't. You're all a piece of shit. Nobody loves me. It's fine. I'm fat and I'm white and I'm single once again. Golly, Sean. Did I breathe?
I don't think so.
Let's see here. The book says if the car causes the... Oh, they're still talking about Larson. Y'all say I talk about Kyle. I'm over here talking about Speed Week events. World of Outlaw late models and big blocks together is a hell of a ticket. I think the late models and the USAC sprint cars for 2 nights are going to be pretty badass. For the record, the late models at Volusia, Sean, and I've talked to sprint car people. I got a guy who's there, David from New Zealand, who's going to be deported thanks to Trump. It's his last year in America to watch racing because of Trump now. He has to go back now, because of some law that Trump put in. But he's a big sprint car fan. I mean, you met him at Knoxville last year. He goes to all the sprint car races when he can. He says, he'll admit it, Volusia, those late models just fucking put on a race, Sean. Why do you think that is?
I watched it on Flow.
Well, it's on Dirt Vision, but
Dirt Vision. I'm sorry. I mean, it was some good racing.
Well, this last weekend's a little different. That first Sunshine Nationals, the track ain't really widened out much, and there's some freak incidences, and it's kind of choppy. But after Sprint Car Week, they roll those damn late models in there, and you said it too, the big block modifieds. The racing's just badass. And I think the USAC Sprint cars benefit from being on the same card as the late models too, because the late models really widen out and smoothen the track down. And then those USAC guys can really put it in to the corner because they ain't got to do no ruts, And USAC on that track is insane, by the way. Insane. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. We'll see if we go down there. I don't know just shit. We're trying to figure some things out. We're waiting on some text back. If I do, I mean, I got to expect at least to dodge 1 or 2 punches along the damn way. We'll see. We'll see. Although I dodged all the punches at Chili Bowl, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, Caitlin kind of swung at me, fucking bitch. No, nah. Oh, we said it. The trigger word. I bet Caitlin's laughing at me when she sees all these people hate me. She's like, yeah, it's like a giant ego stroke for herself. I got all these people I don't even know.
People just had to be there to see it. It was comical.
It was not fucking comical. Why are you saying it was comical, Sean?
Just because it was just out of the blue. She come up and tap you on the shoulder and said, what do you think of that?
Yeah, fucking bitch.
Yeah, what do you think of that? And then fucking took off. I mean,
yeah.
You had to be there to see it. It was classic.
Did you understand why I called that a fucking bitch move? She didn't have to do that, Sean.
Well,
she saw me losing my mind, running up to Sammy Swindell, bitching at Sammy. I mean, she saw I was losing my head, and she wanted to rub it in. It was a fucking psyop.
Why? I mean, yeah, that was the perfect opportunity.
Fuck you, you motherfucker. All right, we're going to go low. Oh, your coverage is much appreciated, chat. Well, thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. And by the way, we did have some new channel members. Their names are at the bottom of the screen when it comes and loops around. Hold on. We'll do it. We'll make sure. We got the new channel members right. There's a direct with the PayPal Venmo, but new channel members right there to the channel that joined this last month. If you want to join, there is a join button below. I was talked out of putting the podcast behind a paywall on the replay, but thanks for joining the memberships. Any type of reoccurring income is huge. And YouTube does take like fucking 40%. So out of that $5, you get like $3.65 or something. But anyway, final topic of the night. There has been some huge, I'm going to say it huge, not BBC huge, but pretty big developments in the high limit world. And we're calling it the Chartered Hope. Sean, I don't know what to say. To be honest with you, Sean. I mean, we see Justin Peck. He puts his new car out. Cool. Who cares? We knew it would say Skagit. We knew it would say Rudine. It's still white and blue. Do something different. But then we see this. From Sprint Cars Only on Facebook. Very good coverage. Very good coverage. Go check it out. But this is what we're talking about, Sean. This driver roster from High Limit. What am I looking at technically, Sean? What is this? Because this honestly reminds me of the All-Stars. This looks like the All-Stars with some sprinkles, like 2022, the Aaron Reitzel All-Stars, that era kind of. You had Courtney in there, you had Reitzel. You had Tim Shaffer was in there a little bit, and pretty much to me, that's what this looks like. And the reason I say sprinkles is Brett Marks and Brad Sweet. I mean, does that constitute sprinkles, Sean? I mean, what is this? Can you tell me, please? What is this? The World of Outlaws. Look at that lineup the World of Outlaws have. With more rookies. 6, I believe it is now. They only have 5 on this list. What is that? Macedo, Hampton, Wyndham, Williamson, G. They're missing one. They're missing Schurenberg. So this list is one driver short. But look at the rest, Sean. Logan Schuchart, David Gravel, Cole Macedo, Donnie Schott, Sheldon Haudenshaw, Bill Baylock, who was very strong last year, Giovanni Silzi, Carson Macedo, Buddy Kofoid. Versus, Sean, listen to this. Brenham Crouch, Casey Kane, Dason Persley, which could be the best shining thing they have going on, and Danny Sams. Justin Peck. I mean, I love Peck, but come on, man. Justin Peck versus Sheldon or some of the... Cy Lynch. Great guy. Not hating. Aaron Reitzel. This is why I say All-Stars 2022. Tanner Thorson. I'm just saying, Sean, this it's over. They're no longer a threat to the World of Outlaws at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing that really gets me is Aaron Reitzel's been racing how long now? And just because he dedicates himself to a fucking series, they're gonna claim as a rookie. I mean, I think that's wrong.
Yeah, he's definitely not a rookie, but neither is Hunter fucking Schurenberg. Neither is Chris Wyndham, who just did a high limit tour.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it's not looking too great.
I just don't think they're an outlaw threat anymore. And here's the bigger kicker, guys. This is the bigger kicker of everything that's happened here. You also have a problem with this hidden value with high limit that was supposed to be the charters. This charter thing was supposed to be this big giant selling point that was going to incorporate the teams into making this money and being a part of an investment and have an actual stake in something that is valuable, like NASCAR and their charters. They're selling them for $40 million and blah, blah, fucking blah. And you got Roth Motorsports, who has all the fucking money in the world, or at least all the cow shit and Patty's money in the world. They probably got shrooms out the asshole. They're fucked up over there on cow patty shrooms with all the money in the world, and they can't even decide to rent a car out or to throw a Jade Avedisian in there for a year and collect a charter that they've already won, Sean. They've already won this thing that's supposed to be so amazing. They're not even on the list. And then you also have Rico Abreu, who's not even on the fucking list, who has also accomplished a charter spot. This was the owner's ending right here, the owner's championship for 2024. Rico Abreu is not on the list, and neither is the Roth Motorsports 83. Neither one of them. That this thing that's supposed to make high limit so amazing, they're not even there, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard anything about the charter system at all this year.
Well, and it's just, you probably ain't heard nothing about it because it's proven to have no value to some people, to people. It just ain't having the value.
Yeah, when two teams drop out, I mean, I don't know what that says, but
after they've won it, Sean, all they have to do is compete this year, and it's theirs.
Right.
Like what are we doing? And then you have this weird issue with Rico as well. Guys, I don't know if y'all have seen this. This is a video from Rico. First time we've seen Rico in 2025. This was posted today or yesterday. He's bouncing a ball. But a buddy sent me this video, and then he sent me a screenshot, and he's like, look at Rico's hand. And he sent me this screenshot of him bouncing the hand, and it's like, what the fuck? Where's his other hand at? I mean, what is going on here? Is there an optical illusion happening? I mean, how bad was this injury that we don't know? Carson Macedo finally came out and said he got hurt water skiing. But one day, Rico's busting the car out, got all these videos with Sprint Car Hub, and the next day, he's out. He ain't racing Australia, and we ain't heard nothing or seen nothing from him, really. And now you have a video coming out, which looks like he's missing his fucking hand, Sean. Does that not look like he's missing his hand?
Kinda.
I mean, I texted Rico trying to get some clarity. He has not responded, but there's the video so you can kind of see it. Look, he's kind of leaning on his left wrist area, but I don't see a hand where his other hand is at. I mean, what is this, Sean? It does kind of look like he is leaning the ball onto his wrist, like if he didn't have a hand. It's like he's pressing it up to his I guess we would say nub at this point. I mean, what is going on with Rico?
I'm sure it's going to come out at one point or another. I mean, yeah, just something just doesn't look right there.
This is not good. This is scary shit. I texted him. I was like, "This is scary, man. Can you tell me like your hand's there still?" Like I said, he hasn't responded, and if it's true, that makes me think it is true. Because if his hand was there, he'd be like, "Yeah, my hand's there. It's just cast it up or something." He hasn't said nothing back.
I thought I was under the impression he got hurt in a sprint car down in Australia, but
No, he got hurt before he even took a lap on the racetrack. He pulled out from the racing in Australia.
huh.
I was told it was doing some fun, as always, similar to water skiing, but not the same. But I just don't see a hand grabbing that ball, Sean. What's going on here, man? I'm scared.
Well, I think he's trying to work on getting back in a car, but if you're missing some fingers, I mean, that'd be kind of tough.
I don't know what to think. Maybe there's some graphical illusions here. I don't know. It's freaking me out, though. I don't, we had a Quokka joke on here, and if this is the degree of what actually happened, I'm going to probably kill myself in guilt over joking about the situation. But this is insane. I just, and like I said, it looks like he's pushing it up against that side of his body like he does not have the capability of grabbing it with that left hand. I mean, the right hand doesn't look casted or anything. It looks like it's his actual hand, but the left, I cannot say the same. Guys in the chat, tell me what's going on here. First of all, High Limit is no longer an outlaw threat. They're closer to the All-Stars that they've ever been, a traveling All-Star series, which is more like Xfinity is, if the All-Stars was the Xfinity to the Outlaws, the Xfinity series traveled around just as much as the Cup Series does. They're just not as prevalent. They're not as the competition ain't as much. It's not as big of a name. So High Limit is technically sliding into that Xfinity role more than ever now because they're prepping teams to travel up and down the road before making the Outlaw jump. But they are, in my opinion, High Limit has solidified themselves as a B-level series in comparison. But this Rico thing is just a whole nother subject and has me legitimately concerned. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I mean it's not good. I mean somebody said in chat or in the chat deal that he's selling his hauler truck on Facebook. So
yeah, but he's got multiple haulers and stuff.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I guess you never know though.
And that could be an old hauler that he hasn't used or something. I mean, but all I'm saying is like, what the fuck? It does not look like there is a hand there. Somebody's getting mad. This is fucked. I don't know if you're saying this is fucked as far as like, how can you talk about this? I mean, I'm trying to figure it out, guys. I just have questions here. Corey says, I have all 5 fingers, but have arthritis real bad to where my hand is pretty much closed up. So it could be an injury where his hand won't allow. I'm not, dude, I'm just saying, guys, that don't look like a hand is there. That's my problem here. It don't look like, because we could see the size of his hand on his right arm, Sean. We can see that's the size of his hands. I don't see, it doesn't look like he's got a cast or anything around that hand. So that's the size of his bare arm to hand ratio. And like I said, this guy sent me the still of it. There should be a big fucking hand there. And in other words, there is a empty spot. That looks like an empty spot.
The video, I mean, the placement of the camera, obviously.
But what about the placement of this picture?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's weird.
Now, in this picture, it does kind of look like the right hand is wrapped up in a cast, maybe. But I'm still like, what's going on the left or on the left hand? What is going on over there?
Just below the sleeve, like it's a cast or something, or a wrap of some sort. Could that be wrapping most of his hand up? Where I don't know.
Yeah, but where is the hand?
Wrapped up? I don't know. I mean, you can't really see his fingers.
You can't see anything. There's empty space there between that piece of his arm and the ball. Look at it in the video. You could consistently see there'd be an open spot between.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, this is scary. I don't know. It kind of looks like something is grabbing the ball on the left on the outside like a hand, but I don't know, man. This is
in his right hand to push.
But look how he's having to pick the ball up. He's pushing and leaning into that left side of his body, or that left wrist hand area where the hand should be, and he's pushing into that left side and pulling up like nothing's there.
Right.
He's not grabbing it. Like with the right hand, he's grabbing the ball and pulling up. It's like he's incapable of doing that with the other side by how he's having to bend the ball and pull up. He's leaning on something.
Yeah, I hope. I don't know. I hope he gets well soon and can get back in a car.
Looks like wrapped, closed-fisted. I hope, right? That would be the best thing possible right now to hear, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the positive thing, but why would you be picking up a ball closed-fisted?
I don't know. And like I said, the ratio to how big his hand should be, even if it was fisted, it should be bigger than that.
Right.
Looks like it's in a cast. I just see an empty space, guys. I don't see a cast in this image. I see empty space. I can see the floor right there. Let me show you what I mean by that. I can see the floor. See that? There's this empty space between that white edge of that ball and what is supposed to be a hand. I don't see a hand. I don't see a fist. I see something white, but I don't see a fist or a hand. I see the gray floor behind it, between the ball and that area of his wrist arm.
But most of his hand could be covered with a cast.
Where?
And all you see is his fingers just sticking out of the cast, possibly.
Where?
I mean, that's just an assumption because I do see some flesh-colored something or other.
But look at the size of his hand. This is the size of what his hand should be.
I know.
It's not small.
I know, but it could, like somebody said, it could be a cast, and it's just you see his fingers. And he's just got
Cross our fingers and hope to God.
He's just got his sleeve pulled, way down on that cast, possibly. Hope it's nothing serious.
Right. He said it's his wrist. I don't know why he would lie. I'm just looking at the video. It's a wrap on his hand, Chaz. Okay, well, the hand, I'm not going to keep repeating myself and showing the image. The size of the hand, even in a closed-fisted element, would be larger than what we are seeing in that video picture, that still from that video. I don't know. It could be a graphical phenomenon or illusion or something like that. I don't know. I see viewers dropping. I don't care. Talking about something serious here. He still has his lead foot. Never count Rico. I'm not counting Rico out. Where does this come from? Where is counting Rico out of anything that's been said or talked about? Can you help me on this? Where's counting Rico out even involved in this discussion?
No, we didn't say that. I mean, obviously, he's trying to work on getting back in a car. Obviously.
I'm just hoping that it's the color playing like a visual trick, Can he play a video game? This ball video is sad. It was hopefully. I mean, like I said, I wanted to reach out to get confirmation. No guy, I wanted to be able to come on here tonight and be like, I know it looks like that, but Rico's told me he's fine. I didn't get that. I didn't get that response. He usually texts back, too. I don't know. So it's got me worried. It's got me extremely worried. Is that it, Sean? Do we do callers?
I don't want to do callers.
Not me.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Oh God. Well, guys. thanks for tuning in. That was the show today. Hopefully, if something is wrong with Rico, it is not as serious as that image looks like. Is most of his chat from Cali? Some burnt brains on here. I don't know. For fuck's sakes, get over it. Move on. Anyways, we are moving on. I don't know. We'll be to Florida or not to Florida. We will know by tomorrow. We will be back here on Wednesday, regardless, whether that's driving down the road or whether that is here with Sean watching, I guess, the first night of Ocala, I think. Ocala is Wednesday, first night. Practice Tuesday, I believe. Nope, it's practice Wednesday. So nothing races until Thursday. We may have to do live shows Thursday, Friday, Saturday if we do not head down to Florida. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show here today. Leave your comments below. Like the video as always. And be sure to subscribe. We will catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. I'm ready to rip. I'm correct. A fish in the water. Here's my mob. Tucking its head. Ain't being honest. Where my Honda strapped its harness. Ready to rip. Jump on that track. Ready to roll. Ready to rip. Ready to reach. Place my bets. Hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal. Peace with the soul. Don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in, the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up, no. Don't trip. Gotta go. Take a slip. Make a pass in the low. Put it down the gas for a show. Set a pass in the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the photo. Cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you want it on